Hey, good morning, everyone. Today we gather here for discussing industrial expectations from application developer. Me and my team will explain you what exactly expected from the position called as application developers. As you all know, whenever you are talking about application developer, he is responsible for developing a backend logic, server side logic required for the applications. If you are a web developer, obviously, as per the technical architecture, you will be responsible for developing server side logic, API development, microservices for that particular application. So you need, it's like most of the time they prefer to have a 3+ minimum years of experience if you are a application developer, and if you are a team lead of application development, the industrial experience may require 5+ years also. As you are building a soul of an application, you'll be the key member or of a team. You may not directly designing UI or developing front ends, but you should have that ability to guide them as per the application requirement. You'll be the key team leader or key member who can understand the application requirements and lay down the plan of application development, the API development, and like you will be responsible for developing the entire business logic of the application over there. Today, we'll be giving you all the guidelines required for the job description of application developer, as well as we'll be arranging a small demo how applications can be developed and deployed on the server over there. So let's start the discussion. Yes, please share the screen and provide me the JD.
Yes, sir. First of all, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Aditya.
Let me share the screen. So today we are going to discuss about the skills, what skills IT industry expect from application developer, and how can we match our profile to their expectation by upskilling ourselves. So what will I do? I just read out the expectations one by one, and
Okay.
sir will explain it. So before going to start, I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
That if anyone want to become a application developer, so what will be a roadmap from him, sir?
Okay. As I just discussed, application developer is a key person developing soul of the web, which is business logic of the application logic, data logic. So obviously he should be well versed with the server side coding, whichever framework recommended. Maybe the PHP or PHP Laravel framework or any other frameworks they are using, the solution architecture recommends or technical architecture recommends, whether they develop the web services by using by using Java framework or .NET framework, right, or Node.js mean or merge stacks over there. Depend on that. You should be having well versed of developing these web applications. So roadmap is obviously you will be used to with this all the technical architecture. What is recommended next is you should have the enough adequate experience to deal with, because right from developing data structures, right from developing API developments, API documentations, at the same time developing microservices. These are the key features. So you should be used to with server-side application logic development, business logic development, and deployment. So if you learn all those things, firstly, have an industrial experience of 3+ years, probably you can justify this role, Aditya.
Yeah, right, sir. So we are going with the first expectations, which is collaborating with front-end developers from both the web and app sites on the integration of elements. So what it means, sir?
Yeah, application developer uh, will be categorized in two types. Okay, because like they though they are statewide means like they are responsible for writing application logic for web or app as well. As I told you, okay, they are not straightway responsible for developing UI or front end logic, right? Required
Yes.
for the applications. So if they are web application developers, obviously server side logic, deployment, database structures, API development, right? So understanding documentations. So these all are project management tools. They should be well versed with. If you are developing applications for app, so obviously though you are not front end again developers over there, but you should be responsible for developing APIs, understand the functionality of the app, and you can able to develop the web services, payment gateways, right? Like your push notifications, and everything like server side logic for the app or web. You can able to obviously as per the front end, you can able to synchronize and able to integrable application logic. You can able to develop, Aditya.
Yes, sir. The next expectation of industry is design and implement scalable web applications and platforms using technologies such as PHP, Java, .NET, MERN, and MinStack. So,
Correct.
what is mean by MERN and MinStack, sir?
MERN means actually M stand for your MongoDB, Express.js, React, and Node.js. And in mean MongoDB, Express.js, that is common, but E stand for Angular. It's like React and Angular. These are the two front end, what I can say, the frameworks available for the front end development. So if you are using a MERN, then yeah, Node.js and MongoDB database will be the common. And in this way, and if you are a web developer using PHP, you should be well versed with the frameworks, Java and .NET. Which obviously, one will not expertise in all the technologies or the frameworks over there, but any one of it, you like as per the requirement of a technical architecture, you will be getting a chance to deploy that applications over there, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. The third one is a strong knowledge of backend development, including RESTful APIs and database management and server-side scripting. So, what it means, sir?
Yeah, actually, nowadays the entire web development depends on the RESTful API. RESTful APIs means we'll be developing an application logic, application programming interface, which is just like having a URL and the endpoint, and you can able to call all this application logic from anywhere else. So you can test using the toolkit like a Postman, Swagger, and able to integrate them anywhere else. Means like there is no prerequisite that this is the only front end by which you can send a request to that API. That like that all the APIs are pluggable and then directly able to integrable, and then you can able to send a request to the server. Database manage and server side scripting means like as I just discussed, you are responsible for developing the soul of the application, business logic, application logic of the application, data logic of the application. So you'll be well versed with the database management as well as server side coding instead of using scripting. Scripting means like it's a code, so you can able to develop a server side logic which is responsible for processing the data, updating the database, generating the APIs, developing the APIs. That all actually the requirements, so that obviously you should have a good amount of knowledge and experience required for these all the reasons.
Yeah, got it, sir. The next one is creation and management of application programming interfaces, APIs.
Yeah, obviously, as I just explained you the concept of API, application programming interface. So you are key responsible for whichever API is required, right? You can able to develop, you can able to like test, you can able to guide to the front end developers how if required, and like you can ask the front end developer what API is required, and you can able to produce that all API. What is API exactly means? API means that server side logic, that server side functionality which is integrable, and you can by sending the request from the client, that API will get a call, and the server side logic will perform the things and update the database. So like the various API like a gate, put, post, delete. So for performing any server side operations, you should be able to perform, able to create, able to develop that all the APIs.
Yes, sir.
You can read a few more points at a time, right? 2-3
Yes.
points, so that I can sum up everything.
Okay, sure, sir. So next is create data storage and acceptance solutions for websites, and especially those that takes payments, and they used to write a reusable code and build libraries for future use, sir.
Yeah, Aditya, as I told you, right now, whenever you are talking about the web applications or the app applications, so there is e-commerce is a main key feature, and whenever you are talking about the e-commerce applications, right? So all the applications have the key features like searchable, bookable, and payable. Okay, you require online payments over there, right? Because like if you are performing e-commerce, so you should have a good amount of knowledge to like about the payment gateways, right? How we can test the payment gateways, how we can integrate the payment gateways as per the clientele suggestions, whether they want to go with a Stripe or Razor Pay, like or any other, many more. There are payment gateways are there. So today every applications, right, requires of payment gateways to be integrated. So because obviously you are developing the services for the clients or online business, right? So in such situations, like create data storage means like how we can perform that all the transactions, right? And acceptance solutions for website is like and the payment gateways, integrations, right? Security of the payments, right? So you will be able to use the third party APIs for this reason. So these are all skill sets you required if you are a web developer. Reusable code and build libraries for future use. Obviously, as I just give an example of a microservices. What exactly microservices means? It's an deployable code on the deployed code on the server, which client can download and use that services, or you can get a link to use that library. So reusable code. Okay, so you can deploy that code on the server, and that code can be used, right? Reused anywhere else. So just like we are developing the header files, we are developing the packages, right? So you can be well versed with the defining the library, so that like API is also one sort of libraries, but it's like defined for just processing the client request. But libraries you can define, you can deploy, and you can use not only this project, but for all the time you can like refer and use sort of things are there. So you should be able to develop that reusable code. It's like it should not be used for only that application, right? Obviously you will be building your own library so that you can able to plug and play in other applications as well.
Yes, sir. So next is ensure the technical feasibility of application from the user point of view. So
Yeah.
your point of view, sir, in that.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, technical feasibility of applications means user point of view in the sense whenever we are developing an application, right? So, in the documentation itself, or like this application is dedicated or targeted to which users, which type of user, right? So technical feasibility in the sense if you are developing an application for the representatives, like so what they are using, are they using mobile to travel, are they traveling, the targeted users are using their laptops, target users are using their desktops, or like uh, while developing an applications you let us understand you will be developing an application for online booking, right, of the cab. So obviously in such situations, okay, people will not use a laptop to they will use the laptop to book the application, but at the same time most of the time it will be preferable by the mobile devices, right, because you are traveling over there. So in such situations, okay, as per the technical feasibility means what kind of infrastructure their users are using, right, as per them what kind of like majority of users, or you should be as a developer know what technical architecture or what devices they are using, right, what kind of expertise they are having. Considering that all the things, you will be developing the applications. Hope you got me.
Yes, sir. So next one is as you talk about the RESTful APIs, what about the authentication using OAuth 2.0 and JWT? What it means, sir?
JWT, okay. Like it's a token, right? Means like APIs. As I told you, it's from anywhere else you can give a call and you can give a call to the services. Authentication code. It's like you should be an authorized user. So while accessing with all the APIs, right, you'll get the authentication code from the server, and that authentication code you need to pass on so that like that API will get a call to you. You will be authorized user to access that all the APIs, right, all the server side code. And for that reason, server will generate the authentication code. So obviously, you will be as a web developer, right, or the app developer on the server side, you should be well versed with how to generate that authentication code, right, and then how that authentication code will be passed on, and then that by passing on that authentication code, that APIs get called to.
You're right, sir. So next one is have solid knowledge of microservices and APS Swagger.
Yeah, Swagger is like API documentation tool. So you should be able to develop the as I just explained you about the microservices, is like it's a libraries or a pluggable and downloadable and executable code you develop and deploy onto the server, so that all the web users can able to download, or you can use the reuse that libraries, that kind of things are there. And APIs in Swagger is a API documentations or API it's a toolkit we are using for generating the API documentation and test APIs over there. So such kind of tools, okay, you should be well versed with, right? And you should have a solid knowledge about the microservices as per the technical architecture defined by the solution architecture.
Yes, sir. So the next one is they must have a solid understanding of the performance requirements and objectives of the website to build effective and efficient solutions, sir.
Yeah. Obviously, whenever you are developing an application's effectiveness, right, efficiency, what problem definition is given to us, right? What is our end users? What is the objectives? What are the objectives we have to achieve through this application? That has to be much more clear, right? And
Yes.
it's able to develop web or app development for that reason, right? So that the agenda of stakeholders, right, or the investors can be achieved, and you should able to serve that all the objectives to the desired clients.
Yeah. So the next one is design and develop new microservices and integrate with existing REST web services.
Yep. Like as I just discussed about the use of microservices, so you and like RESTful APIs. So your all the APIs of the microservices are integrable, deployable. Means you already deployed all the libraries. They are all in the state of a plug and play sort of. So they can one can test, one can integrate, one can use it, reuse it in the web applications. That kind of services you should be capable of developing.
Yeah. So the next one, the work includes writing, testing, and maintaining development solution for issue with code.
Yeah. The work includes writing, testing, maintaining development solutions for issues with code. Means like if there are bugs over there reported, or in future when after deployment and testing on also sometime, because obviously you are not developing application just for a short durations. Okay, that services you are writing. So in future also, if some kind of troubles get for accessing that application, right? So that code can be maintainable, right? That can be debugged if any kind of feature, because like you never know what kind of technical snacks will maybe get developed later on while using the application. Because sometimes while designing and developing initially, the code works, or you may not be knowing about the load balancing of the server, or the traffic comes on the server. So some of the technical stacks may be developed while using that application. So in while maintaining or while using that application, if such kind of technical stack develops, so how we can debug them, how we can provide the solutions. So that kind of means like you will be the testable, maintainable development solutions can be developed, and your code can be modified, updated as per the requirement over there.
Yes, sir. So next one is effectively communicate with developers, designers, and system administrator to identify new features.
Yeah, because basically, as you are developing the soul of the applications, so understanding the requirement of the stakeholders at the same, and if there is new requirement comes up in the scrum meets, so you should able to communicate, because in the entire team, people will looking towards you, so that you have a better knowledge of understanding what is client requirement, and you should be guide them to developers, designers, and the system administrator to identify the new features. Or like, because right now, if you imagine the situations like the product owner might give you the backlogs, right? So that you are developing, but later on, as per the requirement, you should able to guide them that okay, these certain new features also, or you can recommend rather, and then that these are the new features can be added, or if something in the development, you think that okay, for a better functionality, these other features can be also need to be added. So you can able to guide to all the designer, developers, and administrators regarding the new features, or because like obviously it's not every application will not be stereotype, or same kind of features will be available. If something new features which are new in the market, or maybe your team is not aware about that feature over there, right? Then you should be able to guide them, and what that feature, and how it is functions, and how it is can be developed and deployed. So
Yes, as a developer and designer, their team need to be collaborate to work
yeah,
for work efficiency.
collaborations, and but at the same time, technically they need always guidance, right? So
Yes,
as I told you, you should have adequate experience, and the entire like the team is looking towards you as a guide, as a guide. So you can able to answer their queries. You can able to showcase okay, the if there is any new feature coming in the technologically, you should able to pass on the adequate knowledge, so that like they are all well aware about that, and justify that feature, or the objectives of the project can be achieved accordingly.
yes, sir. So next one is utilizing appropriate product life cycle techniques such as Agile, Scrum, and frameworks. Create a website architecture.
Read more.
Utilizing appropriate product life cycle techniques such as Agile, Scrum,
Another
and
point. Yeah.
frameworks. Yeah. Create a website architecture. What it means, sir?
Actually, look. Okay, agile means it's a way of development. Okay, so uh, uh, as per the product owner's requirement, the management team will decide that within this 1 week or 15 days sprint, or mostly it's a 15-day sprint, what kind of backlogs points will be taking up, right? And then the UI team or the development team or the or the testing team will be responsible for generating the code for it, test the code for it, and set it for the deployment. So you will be well versed with, as an application developer, you should well versed with the entire product life cycle techniques. Agile Scrum means like every day there is a meet about the progress, right? In the Scrum meets, like sprint planning, right? Sprint execution, sprint retrospective, daily scrum calls will be there to know what is the progress and all. So you should be well versed with the architecture, like product life cycle, and the entire Scrum and the frameworks, right? Some Scrum meets and the frameworks required for the developing of the web applications. Aditya.
Yes, sir. So next is work with modern tools including Jira and GitHub, sir.
Yeah, Jira means like it's a project management tool. It's not only the Jira. There are a lot of other tools. Or Microsoft tools are there, right? Or any, like, means what is exactly the main contents of project management tools? That all backlogs will be maintained, right? The backlog board will be there. Backlog means like what the objective of the project, sort of, right? And then for achieving that objective, there are many more user stories, and then in that user stories, the well described the objective of that module, right? But the way we are saying module and sub modules, these are all well defined. Their UI will be there, and then like one can read that particular user story, how much points are given, right, to develop it, what are the features are there, and then to whom we should assign that particular story, and then that person have to comment it, push the code, right? So these all and the GitHub, it's a version control software, so one can clone the repository, one can add its own code, create its own branch, push the code, develop a pull request. So these kind of like softwares, like the Jira, project management softwares, right? Like many more project management softwares are there. But at least whenever it's a teamwork, so entire team will collaborate together and perform the work. There is a designers, there are the developers, there are testers, right? So and the project manager, as well as product owner, everyone is connected, and they are monitoring the day-to-day activities. So every user have a common documentations, right? At the same time, to understand, and you should able to perform your role, and you can able to develop the code and push the code over there. So you are producing the intellectual property, so you should be develop a secure code, right? So that repository has to be there, and then all the links should be available in the product management tool. So in short, as a web developer, you should be well versed with the project management softwares and the version control software, so that like the code, one can merge the code, right, and to the CI/CD pipeline, it can be deployed on the server as well for the testing, and make it live.
Yes, sir. So next is troubleshoot and debug applications.
Read next.
Stay up to date with the latest web development trends and technologies.
Okay. So now troubleshoot and debug applications, as I just explained you. Okay, whenever you are writing a code, right? So certainly it may develop some troubleshoots, right? So some trouble like bugs over there. So you should able to debug. You should able to like it's like you should able to produce such a code which can be maintainable, debuggable, right? If any bugs occurs over there, and if any troubleshoots are there, you should be able to overcome that. So it should be well commented. There has to be the proper nomenclature of the libraries and the standardization of coding standards need to be followed, right? So that everyone in the team should follow the same coding standards, so that you can able to debug not only your code but the others code as well. You can able to like find out the like solutions of troubleshooting, if any there, of any functionality, any feature that can be, you can able to provide the solutions of the like troubleshoots. So this is what standardizations we need to follow it. And latest web development trends means, obviously whenever there are stakeholders investing on the web development, so they will be expecting the latest new trending in the markets. Okay, maybe it's a e-commerce application, multi-vendor e-commerce application. So what kind of payment gateways are they'll ask you, okay, which payment gateway should I use, right? What are the efficient ways, or which for the front end, what kind of library support I will be using, or what templates I will be using, whether it's a paid template I can use. So as a web developer, you should be able to guide them. You are able to recommend them. Obviously, final decisions will be taken by the stakeholders, but you have all the recommendations. You can have the solutions to give it to them, and then you can means like the entire team, development team, at the same time the stakeholders, right, or your managers are expecting recommendations. Or if somebody asks me what should I use, that should I use this, so you should have at least certain proper solutions or the answers of that all the queries regarding the what is latest trending in the market. That is what exactly expected in these descriptions, Aditya.
Yes, that's it for today, sir. And now Sahil will show you
Okay.
the quick demo of the application, how application works.
Yeah, certainly I'll be expecting that, and then I will summarize everything again regarding the job descriptions, Aditya.
Yes, sir.
Let's go for the demonstration first.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Let me share my screen first. Okay. Hope my screen is visible, sir.
It's yet to be loaded. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, as you all know, I described the APIs and the backend part of in the theory portion. So I will go for the quick preview of that APIs. So, how can we create the APIs and save into database for the backend part? So for first we have to connect the data into database. So for that purpose we use MongoDB. Just like here's the MongoDB. And for that we have to create an database like TMC. So I am showing the one temperature task application which is created by APIs, REST APIs. So first I have to require that mongoose and the mongoose, and then we have to connect that mongoose with this URI of that database. Like this will be available when we create an MongoDB, which is I open again. Okay. So in the MongoDB compass, here is a URI for that database. Is a new collection. We have to create that new collection, and when we click on the connect button, so data will be connected. But first of all, we have to just check the connection is connected or not. So for we use the ready state for that purpose, or database connected or not. To start the server, node one server. So he's showing that one number. So one is for that the database server is open. So we connected with the MongoDB, and for that in the data backend data. So I have to create the schema for that. Whichever we want to fetch the data, we have to create the API. So there's method, current method we already know in the previous sessions. Post, get, put, and delete. So for that we have to creating that schema. So this is the data schema. For that we are fetching a data like city, state, minimum temperature and minimum temperature. So here's the type as well. City in the string format, state as well in string format, and minimum and maximum temperature will be in the number type, like this. And we have to create that collection as well for the database, like city data, and that all the data whichever we added in the schema will be added in that collection, and we have to export that connection. So that schema will be fetch in the index.js file, because we run that server with this nodemon server on the index.js file. So here's all the data will be run. So for that we have to just require the express first. So we require the express and that connection of that MongoDB, which I connected here, and then the data which is I created schema for whichever I data want to get and create with the APIs. So that data where require in that index.file. And the course this is the most useful function for, because the course is helps to create and bridge with the UI to the backend. So this is the middle connection of that all the things, because of we front end will be run in the another port and backend will be server start in the another port. So for connection of that purpose we are using course. So like that. And express, first of I will assign that express in the one variable of app. So I have connected app.use uses the middleware with the course function, and then that all data will be saved in the JSON file. Like yes, I write here code like app.use of express.json. So that data will be saved in the format of JSON. So we had MongoDB is connected. For that we have to create the APIs. We all know that a method of CRUD method for the creating APIs, like post, get, delete, and put. So first of all we will create the data and post into the database for the MongoDB database. So for that purpose we just write here with the endpoint /create. So in that we have that URL. So in that URL of the endpoint we just write create. So in that URL of endpoint we creating the API. Like here we sending the request and response to parameters. For that whichever data schema is created in the data schema, that will be fetched and that data will be saved in that MongoDB database with this statement of code. And that response will be sent, that all the data will be sent with the response of that request. So first API is like this. So we'll just check with the Postman. This is the tool where we test all the data which is workable or not. So I will just first post the data with the method and type here the endpoint like create, and this is the data in the body of raw material we have to write here, because we have to write similar way of data in the Postman as well, because we have created in the schema like that format, city, state, min, and max. You have to just put the data in that similar format. So we'll go for the Postman and here, and in that URL we have to just send the data. So just like here's the data is successfully created and saved in the database, like city is NGP, state is MH, minimum temperature is 25 and maximum temperature is 35, with the ID of that particular data which is stored in the database. Just like we can create another data as well. um, for the Maharashtra, desert minimum temperature is like 29 degree and maximum is 38. And I will set like this, that another data will be also added in the database in that format. So for that we have to just go with this MongoDB compass. Here is the database name, which Thames City. In that we have created the city data's collection. So in that collection you have to just refresh, and this is the data which is added in the database, which we use creating the API and testing the toolkit of Postman. So that data will be added in the that MongoDB database. Like NGP already we added with the another ID, and after that we have added Varda and Maharashtra with the 29 minimum temperature and 38 is the maximum temperature. So first we'll check with the first API. So we'll go for the second. In that we are displaying the data whichever added in the MongoDB. For that purpose, we have to put this second method, which is get method. Because of fetching that data, we have to just write here app.get, and the endpoint of this, whichever endpoint we have to add, we can add. And in the similar way, we are requesting the request to the database and taking the response from that database. For that purpose, we are sending the two parameters here, and that data in that data schema, whichever data is added in the database of MongoDB, with the help of .find function, that will find the data, and that data will be sent into the it will be shown in the Postman. So that API is created like in that way. So we will just go with the Postman. We have to change the method, like we have to just get the data whichever we added here, and right here the endpoint of that display, and click hit button on the side. So whichever data is added in the MongoDB, that will be shown here like this. Okay, first Nagpur, Maharashtra, and then NGPMH and the Wardha, Maharashtra. Like that, we our second API is successfully working. Whichever data will be added and save in the collection, that also we can check with the help of Postman. But we have to just focus on that the method whichever we use and the endpoint of that URL. So like that, I have created another one also, because of in that application of backend part in the UI, I have created just I have to create the data and then display the data, as well as I have to find the minimum temperature of that application and maximum temperature of that application. So for that, I have created another API. So in that, we have to just getting the data from the API from the MongoDB. So the method will be same app.get, and the endpoint will be changed because that data will be shown in the another endpoint. And the say similar parameters, we have to request the database, and that response will be returned to us. So for that, we have to create that algorithm here. Just similar, we have used finding for the display. So for that purpose, we have to find the minimum temperature of that city, whichever city we have the minimum temperature. So we have to write here with the data schema and the function of find one with the object, and here how to sort that with the logic is here mean with the one, because we have to find that ascending order of data in the number format. So that data will be sorted here, and that find one will be show only that one particular city, whichever the city have minimum temperature, and that data will be sent in the format of response. So we'll go with the Postman and change the endpoint with me, and click on the send button, so that data will be showing like this. So Nagpur has the minimum temperature of 25, so he's checking the minimum temperature with the help of that algorithm we have written there. That similar way, we have created another API as well for finding maximum value of the temperature. So for that purpose, we have to create the endpoint as well, the different type for the max. And this similar process, we have to request and take the response from the database and the algorithm like this, finding one. But in that case, we have to just sort that in the format of max and the minus one, because in that case we are going with the descending order, because we have to just cross check the highest temperature of that data whichever added in that database. So without wasting time, we'll go with the postman and just change the endpoint and the max. Send button. So it's showing like Nagpur only because the maximum is 14. For that purpose, we will go with this, and we can change another data as well for post, create, and so on. Like Hyderabad and Telangana, and the minimum temperature is like 13. The highest will be like 52. Okay. 52, and click on the send button. That data will be added. Like so, after that, we will just go with the database and check the data is added. So data is added. So we can again check the highest temperature of the city, the max endpoint, and just click on the button. So it will show the Hyderabad, Telangana, and 52 like this, and name is Nagpur. So our API is working, and the application is working with this. So for that, we have to just create that APIs in another folder. Like we have to just first connect with the MongoDB, because we are using the MERGE stack. So we use the database of MongoDB. This is the URI for connecting the database with this API. And after that, we have to create the schema like this: city, state, mean, and max. And we have to just type. We have to define the type of that particular variable, whichever we object we are creating. And here we have to create the collection name. In that collection where all the data will be stored. And after that, we have to create the server file for that route. This is the endpoints and APIs for that particular whichever application we have to create and run with the algorithm. So like that. So I have created with this UI. So we'll go with this just little bit of UI design with this API. Firstly, we have created and checked with the Postman. So we will showing that how it works with this front end. So in that we have to we'll write Amravati, the city name, and Maharashtra will be the state name, and the minimum temperature is 28, and the highest will be 52. Click on the submit button. So that data will be stored successfully. For that purpose, we have to go with this code section in the create component. So we have created already UI like this. So I have to just fetch the data from the input of. So as we know, we have to create already we have created with the URL of that localhost on the port of 5000. We have to just add the endpoint of that API in that fetch method, because of we are fetching the data from the front end like this, and that data will be post. The method is post in the format of JSON format, JSON type. So we have to write that algorithm like body -JSON dot stringify that form. Whichever data will be added in that form, that will be sent in the JSON format in the backend part. We can cross check in the MongoDB as well. Fifth data will be added here, Amravati, Maharashtra. So just we will cross check. All data will be shown like here. Whichever data is in the backend part of MongoDB, that will be shown like here: city name, state name, minimum temperature of that particular city, and the maximum temperature of that city. So by using APIs, we are created in the backend part, and that will be the front end part, and that we are showing in the UI, like the Hyderabad is in the highest maximum temperature, and that Nagpur will be in the minimum temperature of 25 degrees. So that's all for the quick review of API.
Hey, thank you, Sahil, for giving us a lovely demonstration on how to produce API, how to test APIs, and how we can able to integrate all those APIs to the front end so that the entire application life cycle, like front end, back end, and application like data logic, that everything can be integrated together to provide the features of entire application. Hey guys, we are discussing a job description and industrial expectations from application developer. To summarize everything, application developer is a key member who is developing DAL, data access layer, BAL, business access layer of the application. Whichever framework you are using, whether it's a PHP, Java, .NET, or MERN, though you are not responsible for straightway for developing a UI and front end, but you should be able to guide them as per the requirement. So understanding the requirement, well versed with the project management tools, ability to develop the APIs, ability to develop the microservices, ability to explain the new features, recommend the new features even to the stakeholders, explain the ideas and the way to the entire team. You should be a lead to the in the scrum meets, in the obviously in the developmental point of view I'm talking about. If you have an adequate experience in all these stuffs, probably you can easily justify that role. So my recommendations, if you are going for application developer role, industry may expect you there may be the junior also, but like if you are performing a key role, there has to be the minimum experience of 3 years, and if you are performing a role like a team lead, then there may be minimum experience required for the 5 years. You should be well versed with the GitHub software, like the product management software, like a Jira, right? You should be able to communicate well. You can able to document well. Technical, while writing the technical like documentation I'm talking about, and at the same time, and in the presentations you can able to present the feature well. So these are minimum industrial expectations from the application developer. Hope you got an idea. If you are targeting your career as an application developer, you should be plan the things accordingly, that so that you can upskill yourself and justify that role and achieve the best in your career. Thank you very much, guys. If you have any other queries apart from this, or if you are expecting something from Axiom team, so that like they'll guide you, they'll come up with the solutions of the technical challenges, and together we will achieve the best out of it. Thank you very much. Have a great day ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.